Are we on? All right. So we're going to eat, and most of you have gotten your food. We're live streaming this for a lot of people aren't back. Those of you who are watching on video, we're just now eating. We're going to start in about 5 or 10 minutes. If you are watching on video and you have questions, I'm going to give you my cell number, and you can text questions, and Lisa will pick it up. So you might want to get something to write down in just a second. My phone number, so you can text any questions, or at least text and say that you're watching. Text and say that you're watching. Now, those of you who are eating, I want you to go through the folder. I was talking to Steve and Sue. He said I had 13 questions, but they're all answered in the folder. So most of the questions will be answered in the folder. So go through that, and so maybe we can save some time. But I'll go through the folder with you in just a little bit. But those of you who are watching online, if you want to text me, my number is 702-376-2176. 702-376-2176. And for all of you here today, I'll give it to you again later. You might want to have that because I'm going to get phone privileges when we travel. If you get lost in Egypt and help, I'm back at the pyramids. My phone number is 702-376-2176. And when we have questions, you can always ask me or my wife, Lisa. Carissa, wave your hand. Carissa's sort of my assistant helping out. She's a volunteer at the church, and she's helped put all these files together, and that she does a great help for me. So those will be my two helpers as we move along. So we're going to pause and eat for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll start a little after 12. So we're going to start in 5 minutes. For those of you watching live stream, I want to give you my phone number once again if you didn't have a pen ready. And we've had a couple of people call and text questions. My phone number is 702 376 2176. 702 376 2176. We're going to start 5 minutes. Okay, we're going to get started. Continue to eat, and I just want to honor your time. And this is Middle Eastern food. I started getting heartburn just a second ago, and so my wife said, "Get used to it. You got it for 12 days." So a lot of people, this would be the typical cuisine. You would have, these are called steak kebab, beef kebabs. And anybody get the baklava, though? That's pretty good. I love the, the baklava. Some people who don't like the food, I had a friend named Bill. He's been on 3 trips with me. He takes nabs and nuts and packed them all ahead, and so he just ate that. If you don't like the food, pita bread is at every meal. You know, you can survive on pita bread. Every place we'll go, we'll have a breakfast buffet, and they'll have basically an English American side, an Asian side. It's an international community, so everything you can have at breakfast. So most people eat a big breakfast. Lunch is on your own every day, so we'll stop somewhere And so you can't please everybody on all the lunches. So some people will take some snacks in case they don't like the lunch, but otherwise you just nibble with what they have. So lunch will be very authentic. I know we'll be in the middle of Cairo, Egypt, and you'll see McDonald's and say, let's go. But trust me, even the McDonald's isn't the same as you're used to it there. And so lunch will be somewhere, and then dinner will be at the hotel, once again, a buffet. And just a smorgasbord of things that they'll have. So the food will be fine, but some people take snacks just in case they're not comfortable with the food. So as you came in, got something in my throat. You should have gotten a couple things. You should have gotten a file folder with a packet, and this is what should be in your packet. First, you have the first page says 13-day tour of Egypt, Petra, and Israel, Dr. Rob Boyd, and it's got a list of the hotels where we'll be staying every night. So if you want to copy that and leave that with a family friend, you can do that. The bottom of that page is our flight schedule. It's got the airlines and the flight numbers. If I had it to do over again, I would have this meeting next week because they ticket the airlines 30 days. So 30 days was yesterday. So they can't do it on Saturday, so they'll ticket Monday. And so they will email you. Everyone will get emailed your tickets. So you can call me. Don't call me tomorrow or Tuesday. By the end of the week, if you haven't gotten your emailed tickets, call me because I'm going to get them and we'll find out. But you should receive your emails, your tickets via email probably Tuesday. But they couldn't have them then. So it's not like paper tickets. They don't have those anymore. You can print them out, but you'll do that. So once you have your tickets, you can go and try to see things like seat assignments. The hardest thing about group flights I've ever had is seat assignments because they book 44 seats like that, and they do the best they can. But that's where they make their money, is buying these group blocks. So everybody is not going to get the aisle seat unless you upgrade. But if you wanted to upgrade, that's once you get your seat assignment and your tickets, you can work with the airlines directly to do things like that. Okay? So that's the first section. Let me tell you, it's hard. It's been changed. This has been the most unique trip I've ever taken. I always like to get the good thing about this. Every trip I've taken, we have flown to either New York or Atlanta, and then to Europe, and then to Israel. We've got a direct flight from Phoenix to London, which is a very good deal, That's the good news. The bad news is, you notice it doesn't leave until 8:25 p.m. on the 31st. If I would have known that, I would have left on the 30th because we're wasting a whole Monday. So we don't leave until Monday night at 8:25 from here. We'll fly directly to London, and we'll get at London at 1:20 p.m. Tuesday, and then we'll transfer at 3:20, and we'll go to Cairo. We get into Cairo at 10:20 on Tuesday night. All right, we'll go through customs, go to our hotel, and I'll be honest with you, it's a busy trip. Your worst day is going to be in Egypt because you've traveled Monday, get in the hotel at midnight on Tuesday night, and we have one full day in Egypt. It's because it's the way the flights worked out. I don't like that, but the hardest day is going to be in Egypt, okay? So we have a Nile cruise. You can sleep on the cruise boat on the Nile River, but I remember that's going to be the most difficult day. So we'll spend all day Tuesday in Egypt. Wednesday morning we get up and we fly to Amman, Jordan. We'll get off, we'll drive directly, we'll go to Mount Nebo and then down to Petra. And Petra will be sort of a rest day because we'll get there mid-afternoon and we'll rest. The Wednesday morning we'll get up, we'll spend the entire morning in Petra, and then we'll go back to Amman, Jordan. So those 2 days will be a little bit easier because we want to be rested when we go into Egypt. We'll enter into through Israel. We'll drive across the border from Amman, Jordan to Israel. We'll drive across, and then but I'm looking at the flights now. What changed was, I don't know if you heard this, but our flight was canceled. We had originally were planning to fly out of Tel Aviv on early November 12th, like at 3 or 4 in the morning, I believe it was, and we were going to fly to London and then catch our flight from London back to Phoenix and arrive at 6:15 p.m. The flight from Tel Aviv was canceled, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's with this shortage and pandemics, they're canceling flights all the time. So there's a good news and there's bad news. The good news is we're going to fly out of Tel Aviv on November 11th at 4:25. So the problem was if the flight left at 4:20, we were going to have to leave our hotel in Jerusalem at midnight. So we would not sleep at all. Now we're going to leave at 4. We're going to fly to London. We've got a hotel in London. We get in London at 7:45 p.m. We don't leave until 2:15 the next day, so we get a good night's sleep in London. The bonus is they're offering a 3-hour tour that morning of Windsor and Windsor Castle in London. Okay? So if you want to do that, we're going to go you get a good night's sleep, and they said we don't have time to go into London proper. There's too many chances or risk that the traffic, it's way outside the city. But we're close enough where we'll do a 3-hour tour of Windsor and there, so that we'll be a little bit rested, and it'll break up the trip on the way home. So that's the good news. That's the good news there. And we get back, we're on the same flight original from London to Phoenix. It's the same flight that we had planned, and we'll get back at 6:15. All right? So 2 questions I want to ask. You came in, you should have gotten T-shirts, and if you don't have to, you don't have to. I've been a pastor long enough, I don't like to vote, because every time you vote, you got half and half and half. So I just say, I'll make the decision, and you can be mad at me, okay? And so if you're able and you're willing, I would encourage you to wear your T-shirts on the trip over, because when we're going through customs and going to the baggage claims, you can look for blue shirts. Now, some people are fashion queens, and you don't want to do that. You don't have to. But I would suggest wearing it on the trip over, because the easiest times people get lost, if you've ever gone through customs, we go in different ways, and you look for blue shirts. And so I told Lisa we'd do it on the way and the way back. She said people may be smelling on the way back. So if you would wear it 2 days, I'd wear it on the way there and on the way back. But I would encourage you, if you're able, to wear your shirts on the way at least, and if you want to, on the trip home, because through customs, that's the biggest chance of getting lost, okay? So let me go through here, and then let me remind you, 1 bag, one carry-on, okay? Let me see this. Yeah. One suitcase, 1 carry-on, and a purse. Some people, the Christensens aren't here, they're doing they've already packed it out. They're doing a carry-on and a backpack. So you don't have to check luggage. My wife isn't going to go for that, okay? But 1 carry-on, you got 1 suitcase. You should have 2 luggage tags. Everybody have 2 luggage tags? Those are great helps as well. I've got about 10 extra if something happens, but I don't have much. I didn't have enough to give everyone 3. But if you mess up one and you need one, I have an extra luggage tag as well. The flight on Monday leaves here at 8:25. I polled a few people, and I've gone pros and cons about whether getting a shuttle to go, and I think we're going to ask you just to meet at the airport, because people, we've had it before where somebody didn't show, and you don't want to miss that. And so if people want a shuttle, get with me, and I can get a group of you together. We can try to get you to shuttle together. But when you get home, it's hard to get that bus in there, or church bus in there, and everybody there. Most of you, when you get home, you're going to be ready to get home. So that's a little extra expense, but to Uber or leave your car at the airport. So, but as of now, we're just going to ask you to meet at the airport, and we'll meet at the gate. That's the best that we can do. And so if some of you are very, very uncomfortable with that and you want to go with people, let me know. I can put you as a group together, and we can get the Sun City Express, and you can get together, and you can get that group and they can take groups of 10 is what they do. But it didn't pay to charter a bus for 40 people, because by the time, when we get home and them getting in there, it would be difficult. So if you want to be a part of a group to shuttle, see me, and if there's enough to do that, I'll try to work that out with you on that. So any questions on departure, Bob?
On this sheet that shows our hotels and everything, it shows the carry-on luggage weight of 18 pounds. The British Airline website has a much higher weight.
And I would go with airlines. No, so I'm going with airlines on that. I don't know, but carry-ons, no, okay, you're talking about the one bag. Most airlines are 50 pounds for your checked bag. Your checked bag.
This is showing online that the carry-on bag is also.
Okay, but I've never seen them weigh a carry-on. Yeah, your carry-on has to fit in the dimensions, okay? Yeah, so your suitcase needs to be 50 pounds. Your carry-on that you go to the airport, their dimensions, it needs to fit in there. But they won't weigh that, but it will be fit if they do that. Okay? And so you can carry a bag, a carry-on, and a purse. So I'll probably just carry a bag and a backpack or something. Okay? And I need to repeat the questions for the people online. So one bag, checked bag, 50 pounds, one carry-on, and then a purse.
Okay, on the old itinerary, after we left Cairo, we flew into Amman and then we drove to Petra and stayed in a hotel there. But this one is showing a hotel in Amman and another
Okay.
hotel in.
Okay. When we are flying from Egypt to Amman, Jordan, and we will go directly to Petra, and we will stay in Petra. And that night, we'll get there mid-afternoon. And originally, we were going to stay in Petra 2 nights. But we're not doing that now because Amman is 2 hours closer to the border. And so we want to drive back to Amman so that third night, we can get up and get into Israel quick. So the unfortunate part about this, going to different countries, it's more hotels. I would have preferred to stay in Petra twice, but if he said that, we'd lose a half a day in Israel. So we're going to come back to Amman, which is much closer to the entrance into Israel. So two nights in Egypt, 1 night in Petra, 1 night in Amman, and then we come and we'll stay in Tiberias up near the Sea of Galilee, 2 or 3 nights, and then finally in the King Solomon Hotel in Jerusalem for the final 3 nights. Okay? Anything about the airlines or the hotels? They're good hotels. I've stayed in most all of these hotels before. I haven't been to Egypt, but they're nice hotels. Some of the ones in Galilee are more sort of older, but they're very nice. Yes.
What about tipping?
Okay, tipping is included, so in your price. So they pray for us that nobody else drops, because what they do is we got this price based on 40 paid and people, and I do want you to know that this week I've got so many calls. I said I just want to be a pastor, not a tour guide. So Lisa and I we work on this trip, but I do want you to know that our trip is included in this. I want you to know. I just want to be up front with you to know that our trip, not all of it, but the main part is included in that. But with the 40 paid, all the tips for the bus driver, the guides, the bellmans, the door people is all included. They will send me a check beforehand. I will work with the guide, and I will take care of all the tips. The only thing that we will ask you to participate in is I don't think we won't do it in Egypt or Jordan, but in Israel, we may ask you to participate in a tip for the driver and the guide. And just because you'll get to know the driver and the guide, and the tour company gives us the minimal tips. And so previous times that we've added to that and given it to them. Now, if anybody else drops out, we got this price based on that. So pray we keep at this number. We started with 46, and now we're at 41 total right here. All right. So any questions on the planes or the hotels? All right. Go to the next one. COVID-related entry and exit requirements. And note, the good news is it's 100 times better than it was when you signed up. Before, I told you that we were going to all have to get tested before we go. We were going to have to be tested in each country before we entered the next country. And if you didn't pass, you stayed. All tests are gone or removed. No proof of vaccinations are required anywhere. As of today, I'm required to tell you, you never know. You never know. Someone called me last week and said that someone went to Israel recently and they had to have an additional blue health form. I called and they said, no, you don't at this time. You don't have the. But this company sends groups every week to Israel. They will know if something changes and they will tell us. Every tour, you may have a favorite travel agent. I've got love-hate relationships with all of them. This one, what I don't like about them is that they're from Israel and they're stationed in Houston, Texas, so they're hard to understand sometimes, and so it's hard to communicate with them sometimes. But what I do like about them is that they're from Israel, their office is in Israel, and if we have any problems, we'll be met by, like the owner of this company is Moses Kanu. We're going to go to his home in Israel. When we go in Jericho, we're going to meet some of his family members, and so we will be met by their company. So a lot of assurance knowing that their office and they live in the Christian sector of Jericho. Okay, so this is the most up to date. You've got the website for British Air and the entry into Israel. You got the website to go see that. And so no COVID vaccination proof, but you can go to I'll be checking that website as they will. If anything changes, we will let you know, okay? I don't see any reason why anyone would test. If you test positive while you're there, you will have to stay there, right, to do that. So we didn't buy the travel insurance, so pray we don't get tested, okay? So we will have to stay there. But I don't see why you would, unless you get sick, why you would be tested there, all right? And so, but I'm going to check out, we'll have our health insurance to make sure we have health insurance as we go in there. Some of you have policies that you can add an addendum on to get the international global health as far as that. All right? Turn on the back, it says required forms to fill out. You got, on this side, so we want to fill out an entry statement, and you can have that. Any other an entry into, so other things, masks are no longer required in Israel. It's your choice. They're not required on the airlines. It's your choice to wear that. And so we're going into Egypt, to Jordan, and to Israel. So look this over and see if you have any questions. Okay, go to the next one. It says 13-day tour of Egypt, Petra, departure date. We've got that. We want you to be at the airport by 5:30, and so I want to see everybody because I can't wait. If you're not there at the gate, I'll have my phone and we'll be able to try to help. But I'll be there early, and but I'll be inside the gate. I might have Carissa or somebody outside the gate till 6:30, but not too late because they've got to get in, something like that. So do that. Your e-tickets we mailed to you this week. Call me if you don't have them. And make sure you check your bags to Cairo, not to London, but to Cairo. And if you've watched the news, I've heard rumors that London's could be the worst airports, overcrowded airports in the world right now. So and that's the good. And the British Airlines is a good airline. And I learned too, if you do frequent flyer miles, they're with American. So go on and make sure you get frequent flyer miles for those trips as well. All right. Meals, you get 2 meals a day, but you have to buy your lunch. Water. Highly recommend don't drink the water. What I will do when I get there with some of your purchase price you did, I've got money and I'm trying to pay for this meal with that and the shirts with that, and I'm going to have water. Everywhere we go, I'm going to put. I think the tour says you get 2 bottles a day, but they make their money that way too. $1, you'll drink a lot of water. So what I will do is I'll have cases and cases on the bus if it's available. And then when you get off the bus, you can get 5 or 6 or 7 waters to take with you. And so that's subject to availability. It'll be harder in Egypt, of course, because we're only there for one day. I usually, as soon as we get in, I'll go out and find out where can I buy water. It's easier. I know the way around in Israel, but we'll try to do that to have plenty of water for everyone. And medicine, they must be in their original containers, because they'll look at those. They'll make sure that all your medicine's in your containers at the airport. Okay? Electricity. Overseas hotels use 220 volts. You will need an adapter from a 110 to 220. That's very important. If you want to plug an alarm clock in, hair dryer, something like that, you need to get an adapters right there, okay? There's a picture of what you get. I was going to say Radio Shack. Do they even have Radio Shacks anymore? What's this world gone to? When you don't have a Radio Shack anymore, okay? Best Buy or someplace like that. Amazon. Order and adapters, okay? Walmart has them. Okay, hotels. All hotels are first class with private baths. Now, that's relative, okay? First class, they're nice hotels. They're nice hotels, but it's not going to be the nicest hotel that you've stayed in. These are, like in Israel, we're staying at the King Solomon Hotel. The King David Hotel is 1 star ahead. I guess Solomon wasn't 1 step down, but it's a nice hotel. It's a nice hotel and a great, great location, all right? Dress code, casual throughout the tour. It says here, no shorts or sleeveless shirts are allowed in any churches, okay? So look, a lot of people will look at the itinerary. A lot of people like to be safe, wear covering or something just in case. Wear long shorts. I've never been anywhere where they've carted you out like that, but you can always look at the itinerary and see where we're going today. I don't know of any places that's a problem, but I would always, when in doubt, dress conservatively there, okay? And we'll go to places, we'll be on a bus, a lot of walking, a lot. How many have step counters? How many have step counters? Okay, I want to know how many steps you take on the trip, okay? It'll be great to add them all up. But there will be some times when they say it's a half-mile walk up or around where some people will say, I'll stay on the bus. So if it gets to be too much, that we're going at a good time of the year where it's not super hot. I've been in August before, and so where people just couldn't bear the heat and the walk. So if it's too much, that you can stay on the bus for certain things like that. All right, you go to weather.com, get the weather. Money, euros, dollars, and sterling notes are accepted in Egypt. However, your money will go much further if you change it to Egyptian pounds rather than to spend your foreign currency on purchases. So I'll just tell you what I do. I usually go to the bank or at the airport and get $100 in each of the currencies, okay? And I don't know if I'd even get it. You don't even have to get it in Egypt or Jordan if you want to get it just shekels for that. So for that, what I will try to do is I will go and I will get about $500 of that. And once we get the rate, Lisa has a little. She did this before. I know this woman behind the scenes would love to do it again. She did a converter card for you. A converter to show you how much it is and how much the dollar is in each currency like that, so that you can know you're getting a good deal. And what I did last time is available. I went to a place and got some. And so if you want to transfer with me according to that rate, you could do that as well. But the easiest way to do it is take your debit card. Make sure you get your credit card approved for overseas. Call your credit card, call your insurance, call your phone people. One time, literally, I got it approved for Egypt, but driving from Galilee to Jerusalem, we drove through the West Bank, and we weren't in Israel anymore, and we got all this roaming, it got all these charges right there. So make sure there'll be some areas, we're going to be in Egypt and in Jordan and the West Bank, which is not Israel, and in Israel. So there will be, what's that? England. Yeah, don't forget about England. So the best way, I use a credit card for most everything. You can get cash. Can you get cash from your credit card at ATMs? I don't know. Okay. I'm not allowed. My wife won't let me. So I'm asking you, are you able to get cash? So that's probably the best way because it's fairer than going to a guy or going to a vendor there who knows how to do that, or at the airports. But and then when we get to England, go to the airport and turn it all back to dollars. Turn it all back to dollars to do that. But you can do most everything with a credit card now. You can do most everything. If you don't want to fool with that, just take enough for emergency tips or little street vendors, and then even at the lunch restaurants, you can use a credit card. Okay, did you hear that? Even at most of the lunch restaurants, you can take a credit card. There may be a time when I do it, and it's one check, and I ask you to pitch in. If not, we can settle up later, something like that. All right, so that's shopping. The tour guide will take you to reputable shops, which we recommended and have used over the years. Now, pray with me. I've decided they love to go to their own gift shops, their own brother, and they love to leave you there for 2.5 hours. So I always fight with them saying we don't need the gift shops. And we go to the gift shops, and there's always one or two of you who are just bargaining and spending $500, $600, $700, and they won't leave because they know they've got deals with the tour companies right there. So we'll make time. I'm going to ask them 30 minutes, to limit our times because we didn't go for the gift shops. To limit the time in the gift shops. There will be time for shopping on your own later, but the gift shops, there's usually about 30, please, because you'll hear me, I do it every time, gotta go, and there's somebody buying something, won't pay $1,000 for a rug, they'll do that right there. So just ask you, honor our time. I don't want to spend hours and hours at the gift shops, and usually I cut him down to, he's got one a day, and I say, let's just cut out 2 of these, depending on what we have to go. All right. And so all tour buses are sanitized daily. Extra masks will be provided. So the buses are nice. Some of them may have Wi-Fi. They're comfortable, and they're very good buses. Yes? I do not know. It's been so long. I think they do. No, I don't know. Write that down. I don't know that answer to that question. The question was, do they have restrooms on that? Yeah, I think we stop. I think we stopped at places, and a lot of times, if you have a shekel, you may give a shekel for the restroom as you go in there. But I think we stop. I don't think we do, but I'll find out. Yes, Valerie. Okay. Yeah, yes. And that's the question. And check the British Airways too, because some of the people, you might want to plug in your iPhone, your laptops in that, and some of the buses have them. The newer ones have those. So I would think these do. All right. Questions so far? Bob.
The itinerary of what we're going to see is going to be pretty much the same as what's on here.
Okay, let me go over the itinerary, the latest that has come since our change, and I'll see how it goes over. So we leave here. Get out your itinerary, your thing. We leave here Monday night at Phoenix, and instead of flying to Frankfurt, we go straight to London and to Cairo. So we arrive Monday, October 31st, we leave. We arrive day 2 in Cairo at 10 o'clock on November 1st. Are you with me? All right, we will immediately go to the Sheraton. We'll check in late that night. And on Wednesday, day 3, we'll spend all day in Cairo. If you see this right here, all day 3 in Cairo. And that night, we go on sailing on the Nile River. That night, we spend the night in Cairo. We get up early on day 4, and we fly to Amman, Jordan. And we will get up and we'll drive to Petra. We'll see Mount Nebo, where Moses looked over in the Promised Land. And we go to Petra. I think we should get there mid-afternoon. So that's where you rest. And Petra's a neat little village stay. And then we'll wake up early on the 4th day, day 5, and we go to Petra. Petra is the most unbelievable sight you've ever seen. A lot of walking, a lot of walking. So take it slow and down, and it's beautiful. We'll come back, we'll get on the bus, we'll drive back to Amman, Jordan, and we'll spend the night in Amman. On day 6, we'll get up early from Amman, and we'll drive across the bridge and drive into Israel, and we'll go to the Mediterranean Sea, Caesarea Maritime, the Roman province there, beautiful, the Mediterranean Sea. You'll see the Mediterranean there. And then we'll go probably, I think that's when we'll go to Mount Carmel, and then we'll come back where we'll stay the next 3 days in Tiberias, right across the street. No, this one may be, is that the Leonardo? It's on the Sea of Galilee, on the Sea of Galilee. Okay? Day 7. I had one with the days. Anybody have what day? Oh, here we go. Day 7 is a Sunday. Yeah. Okay. So I got copies of these. If anybody wants copies of these, Day 7 is Sunday, November 6th. We're going to get up. We're going to have a boat ride on the Sea of Galilee, and I need your help because I'm going to video myself doing a sermon in the boat, and I hope to video it and send it to the church to play during the church service there, okay? Last time I tried it, the internets didn't work well, but we're going to try that. But you're going to love that day, Sunday the 6th. A boat ride. We go up to the Mount Beatitudes where the Sermon on the Mount was. We go to the city called Capernaum. Go to Caesarea Philippi where Peter said, "Thou art the Christ." And we go up to the Golan Heights. And if we survive that, we'll come back to Tiberias and spend the night. That's a great busy day. Okay, and then day 8 on Monday, November 7th, we do something called Nazareth Village. It's about 40-minute drive. It's the city of Nazareth where Jesus was born. There's a whole organization. They just took like a campus about as big as our property here, and they rebuilt the Nazareth. And you've got people in costumes and goats and pigs and you walk through the life of Jesus. It just brings it to life. One of my favorite places is at Nazareth Village. Then we go up to the Mount Precipice where they almost put Jesus off the cliff. And then after that, we'll go down on that day, let me see. We go into Jerusalem. Let me see. He sent me this updated thing. We're going to go to Bethlehem that day before we go into Jerusalem. Make sure I don't have that somewhere. And, okay, here it is. And so on Monday, the November, in fact, he gave me this updated. I'm going to make copies, and I'll do it before we leave today so you can have these, and or I'll give them to you. On that Monday, we do Nazareth Village, Mount Precipice, and then we drive from Galilee down to Jerusalem, and we're going to go straight to Bethlehem. Bethlehem is different because Bethlehem Bethlehem is a private city. It's a walled city. It'd be like Sun City with a big wall around it. And it's been walled for about 20 years. And there are people who live in Bethlehem who have never gone. It's like Sun City in the middle of Phoenix. But they've never gone outside the wall. And Jewish people can't go in, you know. And the Americans paid for that wall, too. We built that wall right there. And so it's difficult to get in. I'm not a fan of Bethlehem, but everybody wants to go see where it is, where Jesus was born in Bethlehem. Now it's a huge Catholic church. You wait in line for an hour, and you stick your head in, and you go. So, but we go because everybody wants to go. And if you all say you don't want to go, I'll tell them don't go. But and they got their favorite gift shop is there too. But anyway, I'd put Bethlehem on the bottom of the list. So he made it in, so we're going to go before we get to Jerusalem. So that's on Monday. The 7th, we'll get into our Jerusalem. On Tuesday, November the 8th, the best days. We go up to the Mount of Olives. We've got the breathtaking view of the city. We walk down to the Garden of Gethsemane, to the Kidron Valley. We see the Garden of Gethsemane, and then we go up into the church of the Basilica, where Jesus was taken before the high priest and placed in the dungeon. We're going to walk over to the upper room in the city of David. Hopefully, I want to go that day into the western wall as well and spend a little time in the old city. Okay, and then Wednesday, November 9th, we go, we leave Jerusalem, we go to Qumran, where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. Fascinating story of the Dead Sea Scrolls. We'll go to the Dead Sea. You can bring your bathing suits where you can float and you can feel sticky and itchy the rest of the day. But people love to go there because we'll spend about half an hour there, float in the Dead Sea. And then we'll go down to Masada. Masada is where the people fled out there. There's a big cable car that goes all the way up to the top of Masada. And then we come back, and then we come back to Jerusalem. Thursday, we start at the Garden Tomb, which is where the biblical account, which my favorite place on all the trip, where the Calvary's tomb, Gordon's tomb, outside the city, and we'll have a worship service, we'll have communion, and see that. Then we'll go into the city, and we'll enter the Dung Gate, and we'll walk the Via Dolorosa, and then we'll talk about that along the way, and we'll end at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is the Catholic place where they believe that. No one knows, but we'll see both of those if you want to go there. And also on that day, we will have free time in the Old City. Free time in the Old City. The other place, it's not on here, I want to do the tunnel. Okay, yeah, on that day in Jerusalem, we're going to walk a rabbinical tunnel that goes under the old city. It's a neat thing, right under the city. So, and then that's Thursday, and then I don't think it's Hezekiah's tunnel. It's called the rabbinical tunnel, but I've asked that question before. I think it's different, but I'm not positive. That's a good question to explore on that. And then the disappointing part is because we're leaving on Friday the 11th at 2 instead of the 12th, we've lost a day. We've lost a day, and I'm very disappointed in that. So our choices are, like I said, I'm probably not going to let you vote, and so is that we'll either do that morning a tour or free time in the old city, or we're going to leave that morning and do a tour of Tel Aviv, because that's where the airport is. And it depends on what happens when we do that. I just think the old city is the climax of everything. So I think I would rather you have, I want to go in the old city on 3 separate days is my goal. And the first day when we do go down from the Mount of Olives to the Western Wall, day 1, and the next day we go to the Qumran. We won't go to the old city. The third day we spend the whole day in the old city. But a lot of times, if you have that third day, you can go back to your favorite place. Go back to something that you didn't get to see. So we'll probably say we all leave at, I don't know what time you leave, at 11 or 12, but we'll have some free time in the old city that day. So that's the itinerary. This is the updated. They just emailed me that. I'm going to, nobody here knows how to work. Can you do this for me? Can somebody go make copies of these? Now, the copies he's making, the itineraries they send me are sent by Egypt, Jordan, and Israel. So the itinerary, the detail that he's got begins when we get into Israel. But the other 2 remain the same, of Egypt and that. But we have updated the Israel and then the England. Questions?
Yes, you mentioned about the long wait and the short reward for Bethlehem. So if one wanted to opt out of going to Bethlehem, can the bus drop us at the hotel?
Okay. The question is, if he took my thing here. The way I'll read it is we're going to have a busy day. We're going to go to Nazareth Village and Mount Precipice, and I think we'll get to Jerusalem after lunch, and so 1 o'clock. And then we go into Bethlehem, and then we check into our hotel. And I'm not trying to sway anybody. Hear me say this. You paid a lot of money for this trip. I want you to get what you want out of it. And so that being said, see, I shouldn't do this. How many want to go to Bethlehem? How many say, I want to go to Bethlehem? I think, see, there's people who want to go to Bethlehem. So I will ask them that, Yolanda, if there's a way to drop you out. But what's that? Yeah, so every trip, people want to go to Bethlehem, and you will, and so I don't want to talk you out of that. So all we do, we get to know the bus driver. That's the key. And so at the bus driver, we can say, can you drop us out? If nothing else, can you drop us out at the Wailing Wall and let us walk a free afternoon there, something like that. Usually they work with you because they also know they work for tips and things like that. So, but they can't, some things they can do and some things they can't do. If it's way out of the room and they can't check into the hotel yet, they can't do that. But we can look into that. And I'll stay with you, and Lisa can take everybody to Bethlehem, okay? No, Bethlehem, you want to go because what will happen once you've been once, every Christmas Eve, you're going to see Christmas Eve at the church in Bethlehem. But when you go there now, you're going to stand in line for an hour and a half, Lisa says more than an hour and a half. Stand in line, and you're going to walk in, and you're going to look through a little hole, and then you're going to go out, and then go to a gift shop. So that for some people, that's the most discouraging day. But I want to tell you in advance that it's not a bad thing. It's just you're just tired. So it's a fatiguing trip. This is not a vacation. Okay, this is a pilgrimage, and you're going to get up and go every morning, And I also tell you, but for the last, you don't know me, it's not a vacation. We're going to meet in the mornings for 10 minutes and in the evenings for 30, 45 minutes to have devotions and singing and worship and debrief to go through what we said. So unless you're, so it isn't a la carte. We want you to be a part of the group to get the most out of everything. And I've never had a problem with that. People have always enjoyed it. I'm bringing a guy that's going to come and lead worship and lead music, bringing his guitar and sing with us along the way as well. So that part will be good. Usually 8 o'clock, probably 8 o'clock, probably on the bus at 8. And so, yes, and so breakfast will be on your own. What happens in these restaurants? The big restaurants say this is a restaurant. Some may have Dr. Boyd Phoenix on the tables. That you go to those tables. Others they don't. You just go, and there will be different groups. Different groups. Some restaurants will have tables like this. Tables reserved. But others, you just look for people. And I encourage you, don't sit with it. What's interesting, I see it every time. By the end of the trip, the first night, people sit with your friends. By the third day, fourth day, you get to know people. Everybody's sitting with everybody. Okay. No, usually the hotels, they will say, have your luggage out by a certain time and outside of your room, and they'll take it they'll have it on the bus. I always check the bus, make sure my luggage is on there. Sometimes I take it anyway, and so to do that. But they offer that because they work by tips. So the itinerary they're passing out to you is just for Israel. It doesn't include Egypt or Jordan, but that's the most updated from the tour company to supplement your folder. Any more questions on the phone? Okay. So if you know someone who's not here, I will probably mail their packet to them if they're snowbirds and not back yet, and haven't decided about the shirts yet. I don't know if I want to mail those or not, just because of money, but I will if they really want them. So let people know they've got shirts and they've got packets, and you're getting your e-tickets in the mail this week. Anything else for that? Other than that, it's going to be a great trip. It's going to be a great trip. I've never been to Egypt before, and so that part is exciting for me. Petra is just a sight to behold, but when you get to Israel, nothing like it. It'll be the best of the best. Questions? Yes, Irene. Now, we sent you, Bob McKay did a lot of research, and he did two things, so you can look at that. And I've got copies of that, or Bob can get you a copy of that. Do you want to address that, Bob, or not? Yeah. Come up here, Bob, and speak through you.
Okay, I was just doing some research on my own on the insurance. How many people looked into that IMG insurance that was recommended by AARP? Okay, when I was looking into it, if you do have a claim, you have to submit a claim within 15 days. So I looked on the site to find the written form that you have to fill out. Very confusing. I finally found it. I can make copies of those for you. Okay? So how many people would like a copy of the claim forms? All right, I'll make them, and when you go over to the church office, the mailboxes are right there on the left. Just look for the mailbox that says Bob McKay, and I'll put them in a folder in there, and you can just pull out a copy of your own, okay? You only need one copy. But you have to fill it out, send it in within 15 days of whatever the injury is or sickness or whatever. And you also have to include a copy of the itinerary, so make sure you have the itinerary with you as well, okay? That's it.
This man's got his own mailbox. That's pretty good, isn't it? Okay. Any other questions? Dick? Yes.
Okay, we have been to Egypt before. In fact, we've been to the pyramids. We've done a Nile cruise. I just want to make one comment about Egypt. It's an Arab country. Watch your women. What I mean is that Arab men do not have the same feelings about being courteous to women that we do. I had an experience with this when Yolanda was shopping by herself, and I wasn't near her, and she got accosted by some male guy trying to sell something. So stay next to your wives, and if you're unaccompanied, have another man in the group stay near you when you're dealing with Arab men, especially in shopping areas. Secondly, thanks to Bob McKay, there's actually a video series, if you'd like to see it. It's called Drive Through History. And it's on Tubi TV. That's T-U-B-I, I think it's .com. You can go online. If you have a smart TV, you can actually load it up on your smart TV, or on a laptop or a computer, you can watch it. And it's like 18 hours of driving tours through Israel, through the Holy Land. And it includes Petra as well. So really worthwhile to take a look at and see in advance, and it'll help orient you towards some of the things we're going to see. And the last comment I'd like to make, since I tend to be a world traveler and travel overseas at least once a year, sleep. We're flying in the evening to London. You want to sleep on that plane to London. At least a good 6 hours, 8 if you can get it, and that'll help your body clock to adjust to European time. So when we go over, get on the plane, get settled, maybe watch a movie, and then go to sleep. If you use something to help you to do that, I'd recommend you do it. Ideally, when we're flying over Scotland, you'll wake up, they'll be serving us breakfast, and you'll already be on the European time zone. Then that afternoon, we're going to fly down to Egypt, try to stay awake most of that time. The closer you can get to staying awake by the time we go to bed that night in Cairo, the better off you're going to be. But some people are going to, they may, because of their body clock, they may stay awake, and then you fly down to Cairo and you sleep on that leg of the flight. You get to Cairo and you're all awake in the middle of the night. So try to attune your body clock to where we're going. Don't ever look and say, well, back in Phoenix, it's this time. That'll mess you up. Stay with the time zone you're going to.
And that's why I said that first day is the hardest, is to help you sleep. I have contacted British Airlines, and for those of you who have trouble sleeping, I will try preaching to you on this sermon, and that usually helps people sleep right away. If it does like you do here on Sundays, I think you won't have any problem doing that. But yeah, I've also heard, try not, some people get stubborn and want to have this Phoenix, set your clocks, try to get on the time of that, okay? Lisa pointed out one thing. The note said, I don't know how many of you bought travel insurance and how many didn't, because my trip is complimentary via that. I've never bought travel insurance. It said travel insurance is required, so I've got to find out about that. So I don't want to lead you astray on that. I've never done that, and so and we just try to get our health insurance to make sure that we've got global care for that. But I don't want to lead you astray. That's the first time I saw it required. I don't know how they if they check that or not, but I'll try to find out about that. Other questions? Gary.
I'm just curious as to how many people are actually going to check a bag. Because to me, the 18 pounds versus the 50 pounds is quite.
Okay. Now, you get a suitcase. Anytime you go on an airplane, they'll weigh it for 50 pounds, okay? You can take one of those. And then you carry on. You carry on a carry-on that fits in a thing that can be a carry-on bag or backpack in that. So who is not checking a bag? Okay, so 3 or 4 are not, I know 5 or 6 are not checking a bag. I had a couple who were in their 80s. They carried a carry-on and a backpack, and they just, and there's places in the hotels where you can wash clothes if you wanted to. But most people are checking a bag. And so you can't save time because, those people who didn't check a bag, they got through customs 45 minutes before we did. But you have to, the problem about going with a group, you wait on the last person. And if you're the last person 3 times in a row, buddy, you got to deal with my wife, okay? And so, but no, just take a regular suitcase and a carry-on, and I don't, a regular suitcase and a backpack is probably what I'll take. And my wife will take a regular suitcase, a carry-on, and a purse. So that you will not have problems with that.
You can definitely take everything you need in a carry-on.
Yeah.
I've been packed for a month.
Okay. That's right. All right. Anybody else? Carol. Okay, so those of you watching your live stream, this is mainly for Egypt, okay? That's the strong Muslim country. We're there one day. We're going to be together the entire time. I would say stay with the group. Lisa? Okay, and then that's Egypt. So stay with the group. We're not going to be there very long to go out and do that, but stay with the group, ladies. Stay with the group, and understand. So I don't know the places we're going, but just be cognizant of that. But also understand their deal in tourism. Same, and Jordan is a very Christian-friendly nation, although it is Muslim, but Petra will be there. The same where you have the trouble also. Orthodox Jews in Israel are very, very, very prejudiced towards women. I'll never forget what happened to your flight. Remember your seat? Okay, so going there, we flew going to Tel Aviv, and I was sat here, Lisa was here, and he was the next, and he refused to sit next to Lisa because she was a woman. and he refused and threw a fit. They had to get the flight attendants and the captains come to resit because he wouldn't sit next to her because she wasn't covered. This was in New York City. This is New York City going to Tel Aviv. So you'll hear stories politically, and I'm not going to get into politics, but we support Israel. We support Israel. But what you're going to learn there is that the Orthodox Jews, they don't like Christians. They don't like Christians over there, and so they are offended by us, and they are just an elite area. So when you get to Israel, what you'll find is the Christians and the Muslims are all put into one group called Arabs. And they are all discriminated against by the controlling Orthodox Jews. Does that make sense? And so you'll meet Arabs who don't like the Jews. The Christians don't like the Orthodox Jews because they have all the power and the control. And we've got churches over there that get shut down and terrorized by the Orthodox Jews. And they treat their wives horribly, the Orthodox Jewish people there. So, and we won't go to many of those sites, but we'll tell you everywhere to go. But I'm not telling you to be afraid, just be smart. Just be smart. There's a lot more places scarier in Phoenix, that night than where we're going. All right, I was going to be through about 1. Any more questions?
I just have a comment
Yes, you want to come?
about money or purses. Yeah, ladies, if you carry a purse like this. You just wanted me to do this, so I'd have to lower it. All right, ladies, if you carry a purse like this, or even a bigger one, take something small with you, because you don't want it to be, trotting around Jerusalem carrying this great big thing. You want something you can strap over, ideally, cross-body, with maybe you could put your jacket over it or something to help protect it. Because people will come by and try and cut the strap and take off with your handbag. Also, men, if you're going to wear a money belt, it's best if you have it under your shirt so that your shirt is over the money belt and they can't even see that you have one on, much less come by and cut it and take it away. So.
And don't worry, because Bob's going to be packing the whole trip.
And I would remind you, that's your passport. That's your gold. That's gold. And when usually you have to give it to the hotel when you get there. So just make sure you don't make a copy of your passport. And I make a copy of it and put it in one of my bags, so you have a copy of that in case of emergency. But that's still, don't lose your passport. People wear the money belts. Do that for your passport and money underneath the clothes. I'm probably going to take 2 of the little, like the hiking pants with the zippers all the way down. I like those the best because I can wear them over again without wrinkling, and those tend to work well, and they're cool. In case I don't want to wear shorts, that's my excuse for not wearing shorts. As I can wear those, and they're zipped up because mainly the airports and the big cities, they prowl on tourists right there. All right, last chance. Anybody else? Guys, I'm excited. So we will not meet again. We will meet at the airport on that Monday night. Did it say 5:30? We'll meet at the gate. Call me. You have my cell phone number about any questions. Until we get there, I will email you before that time. But we've got lots of steak kebabs left. It's going to be thrown away if anybody wants to take anything home. And I might see if somebody who knows the kitchen can get some things to wrap it in to take. It's good beef if you want to get there. But once again, God bless you. Thank you. We're looking forward to a great trip.